So this talk is the product of about 15 years worth of work. My colleague, Missy Gibbs, and I started sampling fish at Blue Spring, which is right down the road from us, because we wanted to. And then in 2007, we got hired by Bob Knight to do the fish assemblage evaluation for the minimum flow and level program because they were establishing the minimum flow and level or minimum flow really, for Blue Spring at that time. So we were getting the baseline data for that. And then we were hired again by St. John's River Water Management District to evaluate the fish assemblage in 2014 and 2015. Because for these minimum flow and level programs, at least the one for Blue Spring, they were supposed to evaluate the spring and for a variety of factors, including fish, every 5 years. Money was a little tight, so we were a little bit late, so it was 7 years, and we went back and studied it again. But I'm going to show you the results of that evaluation right now. I have a lot of data here. I had to condense a whole lot of data down to like 5 slides. But what I really want to show you is that on the top left, that graph is discharge. And what's supposed to be happening is at the right side of that graph, when we get up into 2012, 2013, 2014, the discharge is supposed to be going up. Because what was supposed to happen in Blue Spring, discharge declined from 157 CFS, which is the historic mean for Blue Spring. It declined, and then this minimum flow and level program was supposed to, and the BMAP program, all that kind of stuff was supposed to regenerate the spring flow back up to 150 CFS by 2024. And so in 2014, we're not quite halfway there, but still, we should have had an increase. And hopefully what you can see by those green bars there is that it was actually low. It was lower than it had been in 2007, 2008, the time when we sampled for the baseline. 2007, 2008 probably was high because hurricanes had come through fairly recently. That probably had something to do with it. But then you'll see that it was low and it stayed low. The figure on the right is stage. So even as discharge was low, stage actually was high in 2014. So we had not as much flow, but high stage. In Beluga Blue is a very short run, and so the stage of the run is driven to a large degree by the hydraulic head from the St. John's River. And so we had kind of sluggish flow coming out and a lot of hydraulic head from the river, and so in 2014, 2015, the run was high. Associated with the sluggish flow and high water, we had low dissolved oxygen. So the bottom graph on the bottom right is dissolved oxygen. And hopefully you can see the last bars, 2014, 2015, dissolved oxygen was quite low. It was significantly lower than other years. And you can see that in my photo there, it's chock full of manatees. Because although there's 6,000 manatees in Florida, 500 of them come to Blue Spring. Next slide, please. Okay, so what we're really interested in, those data, all of those data, or not all of them, the discharge and stage I got from USGS, the dissolved oxygen measurements we took along with our fish samples. And so the sort of upshot here is that when we went out in 2014, 2015, when discharge was supposed to be higher, we had hoped that we would find a nice diverse fish assemblage. And the figure on the top left is density of fish. And the density of fish in this time when discharge was low and stage was high, the density of fish was low. I still am not 100% sure why this happens. I think it has to do with oxygen, but all the fish disappear when the stage gets really high. You go out and start swimming around and everything's gone. It's like going through a channel or something. And then the bottom right is diversity. You can see that diversity was low in 2014, 2015. So we had fewer fish and we had fewer different fish. Basically, we had a lot of gar, which are quite tolerant and can gulp air. We had a lot of tilapia, exotic tilapia, and a whole lot of mosquito fish. And a lot of the other stuff had disappeared. Next slide, please. So I have the two figures color-coded. The figures on the left are both density, and the top figure is the relationship between density and discharge in the spring over all of our sampling. So remember, we started in 2000, and then we had these targeted samples later for the minimum flow and level program. We actually have 15 years worth of data. And so so I'm showing you there's sort of the aggregate of 15 years worth of data, and there's a significant relationship between fish density and discharge, positive relationship between density and discharge, and there's a significant negative relationship between density and stage. So when stage is high, fish density is low. You see the same patterns with fish diversity. So when discharge is higher, then fish diversity is higher, and when stage is higher, fish diversity is lower. And again, I think some of this is probably driven by dissolved oxygen, because we have significant relationships, positive relationships between density and diversity and dissolved oxygen. When there's more dissolved oxygen in the run, we have more fish, and both in terms of total number of fish and in terms of numbers of species of fish. I don't know if you guys remember from earlier when St. John's River Water Management, Casey, yes, was showing data. I think it was him. He was showing some data for Volusia Blue Spring and looking at nitrate and dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen was quite low for Volusia Blue, even at the maximum. As the run is getting down right near the St. John's River, the maximum in the middle of the run is only like 1.5 milligrams. Maybe on a really good day, 2 milligrams per liter of oxygen. Really, really, really low. Back in the backwater areas, it might get up to 6. Occasionally, the sun's really pumping on an algae bed, and we didn't see that this last time we went out. We never saw it get that high, and the averages overall were low in the center and on the banks. And as a result, perhaps, well, they don't have experimental data to show this, but perhaps we had lower fish density and lower fish diversity. So what do we conclude out of all this? You can just go ahead and put all my text, which I animated, but I'm not using it. So discharge in 2014, 2015, when it was supposed to be high, was actually low. And stage was high relative to the historic mean and relative to the target. Because the target was 142 CFS, and we were at something like 128 instead. And this high stage and low discharge were associated with low dissolved oxygen, low fish density, low fish diversity. It's interesting because the minimum flow level, I remember years and years and years ago when I first started working there, the park biologist at Blue Spring told me, he asked me, and I didn't know anything about that, I just got there. And he's like, what could we use to justify protecting the spring beside the land? I don't know, I just got here. So they base the minimum flow level on manatee density, manatee population size, which, as you saw earlier, has gone through the roof. But the conditions that promote manatee abundance, which is a lot of water, so high stage is actually good for manatees because there's a lot of water, you can fit a lot of manatees in there. Not necessarily quite as good for